What stood out to you from that? What lessons did you take from your first real world experience, loading the rifle, chambering around and being out there real world? What did you take from that experience and bring forward with you into your next job or next what you do next?
Yeah. I learned a lot on that tour. A lot of mistakes. For me, it was more understanding the cultures, and this will come apparent
Mm,
later on. We're there to help people, and it's a lot of people have this mindset that we're there because we're a military unit, that we're aggressive, and it's like, that was more of a peacekeeping tour, unless we needed to sort of interject. But for me, it was actually seeing firsthand, the suffering, because there was obviously a lot of massacres in Kosovo, but also a first insight into seeing other units. We met the US there, we met the French Foreign Legion there, and it was good to see all these other units. So, as you mentioned, unless you read about them as a young boy, you wouldn't really know much about them. So it was great to have that sort of, and it was interesting to see the crossover, how we would share information. You know what I mean? A lot of units, and I think where some people get it wrong is people try to do it on their own, and you need to share that information. So that was good to see, that cross pollination, working with other units and sharing experiences. What worked, what didn't. When we're doing our handovers, I think I mentioned it in the book. On our first patrol, we went out, and obviously we're like heightened. This is our first patrol since the Falklands War. And it was an OP on the border, and I was the rear man, and I could hear this tiptoeing in the grass, and I'm thinking someone's following us. Stop the patrol. We're getting all round position, and we're observing our arcs, and we just can't see anything. I'm like, okay, we just keep going. But this goes on for about 2 weeks, all the way through when we're in the OP and onwards. And so when we came back, we have like a hot debrief, what worked, what didn't, if we're going to do again, what would you do differently? And then you go into full debrief a day later.
mm-hmm.
And it's all it's that initial feedback while it's still fresh in your mind. And for me, I mentioned, I said, look, I don't know if we've been compromised, but it felt like there was someone watching us. There was this noise in the undergrowth and things like that. And then this young intelligence officer, it was on our initial brief before we went on the ground. Oh, yes, I did fail to mention it. It's mating season for the tortoises. I was like, great. So we've been compromised. We were stood to for literally 2 weeks, not getting any sleep while these tortoises were just burrowing in the undergrowth. But again, for me, what I learned from that is, you need to understand more than the strategic picture. You need to understand more about the environment as well. It's a bit like going back to the first Gulf War with the guys when they didn't take their warm clothing, not realizing actually it freezes at night. It's just stuff, so there's a strategic picture, but then understanding your environment as well.